How are we doing today, guys? On this fine Monday bank holiday. Good. I'm doing good as well. Thank you. Doing great. It's a great day. Awesome. Glad to see you guys are doing well. And just quick check, you guys can see my screen, correct? Awesome. All right, well, we'll go straight into it. Pretty defining week on this final week of May. But just before we get into anything that Price tells us, what do we know about Power of Three? Well, at the end of a Power of Three cycle, you expect a retracement of a candle up to consolidation. So basically, keep your expectations low for this week. Yes, we do have a lot of high impact news events, but it is the last week of the month. So anytime on the last week of the month, I'm just scalping the whole week because for me, there are no high probability expansions. And as we dive into price, we'll see a little deeper into that as well. But that's also why I wanted us to start on the monthly chart, right? So we retraced this month, or looking at this month more specifically, we retraced into bullish fair value gaps. Let me just mark them out. I don't have a monthly template, so it's going to be like this. We retraced into monthly fair value gaps. Sorry for a second. All right, so we retraced into monthly fair value gaps and expanded higher towards external range of liquidity after having taken out a long-term high, right? So that to me, respect of this fair value gap tells me that we're going to go higher. But how far, right? And that's why I don't dive in long term, but I just wanted to review what happened this month. And to me, that also means that our monthly expansion is over. So I'm not going to be looking for anything more except standard deviations objectives of this leg, and more specifically, if we utilize the bodies, I'm looking at that 4 standard deviations right here. So I'll get the price up. That's a clear objective for me, 20,000, but that is a high level compared to where we are right now, right? That's almost 1,000 handles away. So not gonna happen this week, but that is my more long-term view. And once we go down to a weekly, I don't see anything interesting except for the fact that last week we created our fair value gap. We displaced past this buy side liquidity that we just marked up. Let me just mark it out correctly. Put a little green in there. So we displaced past it on NASDAQ, right? We're closing above right here. And we formed a weekly inefficiency. So we understand that a weekly inefficiency will be more important than a daily inefficiency. And that doesn't mean that this one will be respected while the daily is not. We just understand that it takes more to form the displacement needed to create a weekly fair value gap, right? You need multiple weeks of bullish order flow to create such price action. So we understand what it means, and what is that? We were displacing aggressively above this high. But once we check on ES, we are not displacing that far above it to say that we did not close above it yet, but we did form the same fair value gap. So just for the coming weeks, I'm going to expect some sort of retracement into that. But if we dive down to the daily to get more insight into the following week specifically, our SMT lower is still holding, right? I don't know if it was Victor or Jam that asked in general. You guys have the same profile picture, and I'm not too good with names, but he was asking me why I didn't mark out this SMT, but I did mark it out in the price action review, our most recent price action review. So this SMT to me means that we're going up, right? And that means right now. But opening higher gives me a little bit more, makes me think a little more about how we're going to act for the rest of the week, because I'm always thinking in terms of power of 3, right? But that will all get cleared up tomorrow. Day after a bank holiday, we have a lot of catching up to do, a lot of consolidation, accumulating orders before we can get to the weekly expansion. So I'm not going to be touching the markets tomorrow. And what I would like to see is very simple, right? Because I'm on a daily right now. What inefficiencies do we have? Nothing, right? We have SMT and we have one order block on ES. But what is the first thing that jumps to your eyes right here? Well, at least for me, it's divergence. So first through new week opening gaps, as you can see, 1905 is higher, while here it is lower. And as an even bigger insight, right here, this is our highest close at the moment, our Monday candle. That's Tuesday opening, but Monday candle is our highest close. And here it is not at all. It is last week. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people in here for a Monday. But just seeing that already gives me insight into anticipating what I want to see price do. So that's not what price is doing. It's what I want to see price do. So if we keep digging deeper higher, right? And that will all be confirmed after tomorrow, because tomorrow, no trading for me. If you're trading, be very careful. It's usually low resistance high, low resistance low, some search and destroy, and then one big move. That's what I've seen the days after a bank holiday. That's why I'm not super interested. But I'm going to be looking to see divergence through the quarters of this wick. So this is not something I've talked about before, but think SMT, and each one of these lines is SMT. So at the moment, there is divergence within these quarters. So maybe NASDAQ would even go higher here and take this out, leaving ES with a high formed around consequent encroachment of this. This is like perfect price action delivery. I'd like to see this, and then we could have a displacement lower to be targeting this sell side liquidity. But as I said, it's the end of the month. Do I really think it could do that? Maybe, but the highest probability move is probably just retracement inside of last week's range. So just trading inside this, what is that? That's not last week's range. Wow, that was tiny. Okay, so possibly just our most recent range, because that is too small. But trading back into our current range and at farther in the end of the week, after, of course, we have bank holiday, and then tomorrow we have the day after a bank holiday. I'm not expecting much. Wednesday could start a reversal or just start expanding, and then I would like to see Thursday and Friday be our largest ranges day, right? Those are my high probability trading days. Those are the days I would like to see expand lower in this specific case if early week confirms us SMT higher. But when we have no clear direction, right? There's no daily inefficiencies again. So price will either go to liquidity or to rebalance an inefficiency, reprice to an inefficiency. That's the only thing price ever does. So I'm looking at this order block to show respect. Could wick up, as I said, show SMT, and that will be my insight into price. And if I go down to a 4-hour, the clear thing I see right now is that NASDAQ wants to go for this buy side liquidity. So that is aligned with that specific thought process, if I can say it like that. The only thing is that ES also seems to want to reprice higher, but it could stop at this more specifically balanced price range right here, just referring to the most recent balanced price range after an expansion leg. That is something that could very much happen. But honestly, if I wanted to see a continuation lower, I would have preferred it stop with this fair value gap pretty much. So not trade any higher. But again, we're on a 4-hour chart and there are no clear daily inefficiencies. So we'll have to see if this SMT holds. Hopefully not. I'm going to be looking for lower prices. But once we dive into DXY is how we filter out our ideas, right? Because I just said it, there could be lower prices, but if there's no SMT at those highs, I'm just going to expect NASDAQ to keep running, right? And I'm going to, let's just say I mark out something very quickly from here to here. Standard deviations, we still have yet to reach our retracement status. Right here at 1.5. I'm going to have price shown up because I keep those levels, by the way. I do as ICT does. I write them in my journal right next to me, and I keep those for the weeks. So when I'm looking for my objective during the week, I have clear objectives, numbers. I don't have what I'm sharing with you guys right now, right? Oh, okay, I'm looking for this fair value gap. Sure, but where? So this number, that way I don't get confused when I start trading. I only have numbers right next to me. I'm like, okay, I got to get to this number. That's my objective. And then I make sure my order flow aligns with said objective, the direction, of course. But if we head towards DXY, our original plan from, I believe we looked at DXY last week or possibly the week before, is following along, right? So we inverted this weekly fair value gap and expanding lower. If we go down to a daily chart, I wanted to see this inefficiency be respected. It has not, but we're still within this daily order block. So we could still push lower. That idea is not invalidated. And for me, that is the most probable outcome, and that is the outcome I want to see more specifically. Because we rebalanced this inefficiency multiple times, right? We dove into it here, and then again here, respecting it. By the way, that is an open above, so we are still within this fair value gap, and we've just been trading into it, but we're unable to expand away from it, right? Right here, we tried, order block respected, kept expanding lower, and I would like to see the same thing happen now to bring us to that lower liquidity. But again, what does that tell me now? Well, I would be looking for higher prices on indices, or I would be in a risk off scenario when the indices are not inversely correlated to DXY. So whenever DXY and the indices, the dollar index and the indices go in the same direction, for example, we went up for the last week, right? We went up. But if I look on NQNES, we did go up all the way here and then went a little bit down. So see, it's just uncorrelated markets, and it's the last week of the month. So again, don't expect too much, but if that happens, that could happen. I mean, these are the prime conditions to see this happen. So how do you handle markets that you cannot be, that don't have a clear direction, right? So like for this specific week, do I just say, no, I don't want to trade it? Well, personally, I don't. Some people do, and I respect them as long as they want, but I don't want to be losing opportunity. So what am I going to do? I'm going to scalp. I'm going to be happy with less. I'm going to take a trade, and I'm going to take it out at 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2, and I'm sometimes not even going to leave a runner on because I'm going to be happy with less because I expect less from this specific week. One thing we could see, I've been looking at seasonality a little bit more. We could see an aggressive run higher to start the day, to start the month of June, pretty much. So run higher, and then June first week into the second week could retrace lower to then continue higher. So just taking in mind this possibility through seasonality would also be aligned with the fact that I want to see NASDAQ take out this high and then possibly retrace lower into the range. If we go back to our monthly chart very quickly, let me just remove these drawings. We can also look at TGIF levels. So just expecting any candle at the end of said candles cycles, if you want to call them cycles. I hate these words now. They have been tagged with so many things, but it is technically a cycle, a power of 3 cycle. We could look at a 20 to 30% retracement. But if we look at our other candles, that doesn't happen very often. What does happen very often is a 17% retracement. So that's something you can take into note if you want to. This one did not even happen. This one reached it, I believe. They almost did. I'm having a hard time because I want you guys to see it, but I'm doing it manually. But I usually look for, there we go, that's another one. But that one reached also all the way to 20 to 30. So when I'm looking at a monthly end of month retracement, I'm looking at 17%. And you can go back test that if you want. When we are in ranging markets, that's usually what I like to see. And when we are expanding, I don't expect much of a retracement at all on last week. So again, we'll have to see to confirm SMT or no SMT, but our DXY analysis is still valid to be lower. So I'm going to be looking for longs first, all the way to that buy side, and then reacting off of the fact, are we forming SMT at the high with ES? If we are, going to be looking for shorts. If we are not, going to keep going long. all the way to those standard deviations objectives I showed you guys. Do we have any questions at all in the audience right now? Thank you guys for showing up in numbers. That's always lovely to see. Nope. Awesome. I'm not seeing anybody else type. Terrell, you got something? Signal service, please, and thank you. Soon enough, soon enough. I finished working right on the model video, so now I had a little coding to catch up on, but I am definitely working on integrating my bot into PineScript, which would mean I could create an indicator alert system, because I'm not gonna start doing signals by myself. You guys need to work for it. But if it's a bot trading for me and I can provide signals off said bot, then that is something I would be willing to do. And of course, I think that is definitely a product that will interest some people. So yeah, little insight into the future of Rise for you guys. Definitely gonna be a signal service coming. It is a shit ton of work. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So is it coming anytime soon? Probably not, but it is coming. So you guys are in super early here. I love all the support. Love all you guys being in here. That's awesome. And we're gonna make this place go real big. You guys will be happy you were here early, all right? But on that note, I wish you all a great week trading. Hopefully none of you guys are trading tomorrow, but if so, good luck. Be happy with less always. And you guys have a great week. We'll see each other on Thursday for our price action review. I'll be adding the events here in a second. So, again, on that note, you guys have a great week.